Welcome to Around the Blockchain. It's going to be a fantastic episode. We're talking about all the best and worst NFTs and NFT projects over the past year, and it has been quite the year when it comes to NFTs. I can't wait to get into it. We got a great panel for it. On the top right, holding it down, it is RiceTVx. Make sure you follow his YouTube. Always great interviews coming out on there. You definitely going to want to check it out. On the bottom right, one of the OGs in the NFT space, it is CryptoStache, and still looking for that next Axie Infinity. Let us know in the comments what you think it is. On the bottom left, we have, hold it down, it is, of course, Crypto Blood, our favorite Michigonian. Is that how you say it? Michigoan?
7 Malian.
7 Malian. And on the top left, we have, some say he's an alien, but no, he's just in the Pluto Alliance. It is Crypto Taco for Top G's. It's going to be a great show. Let's get right into it. We're talking about the past year, 21 was the year for NFTs to kind of have their come up. First half of 22 also looked great. But then after, I would say, other side mint, it has just been mostly down and to the right. Now, Crypto Taco, we're kind of going over the year in review. I kind of want to say this is largely a turning point. You tried to mint during that, and Johnny, is your roommate, also tried to mint the other deeds. What was the gas fee, the ETH gas fee, to mint that NFT? And when you saw that, what did that tell you about the market at the time?
Oh, man. Well, first off, thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys. So, yeah, the other side mint. So it was supposed to be a Dutch auction. So the price slowly, I think, goes down after time. And they switched it last minute. So like anybody can mint whenever they wanted to. And the Gwei, which right now it's probably at like between 10 and 30 Gwei. It was up to like 3,000 Gwei. So depending on if you push the transaction through, you could have been paying upwards to 3,000. I think I even heard some people pay 6,000 in just gas. So unfortunately, I had a pending transaction with about $2,000 worth of gas sent to the Ethereum network. Waited about 3, 4, 5 hours, just was watching the number slowly be minted down until unfortunately my transaction failed and they all got minted out. And it was a blessing in disguise. I mean, over the last, 5 months that they've been out, the price has kind of been going down. I think its low was around 0.9 and now they're up to about 1.5. So if you were watching them, that was your opportunity to get in, and I missed it. I mean, Justin and I were talking about it this morning. It's like a cycle. You see, like the one you don't buy, it goes up, and then you cry, and then you look at another NFT, you don't buy it, it goes up, you cry, and it's like a cycle. So
yeah, and then the one you do buy, that's when it goes down. It goes up by 0.7. So went up, in the wrong direction is all. We look at some of the numbers. So NFT trading volume looked like it peaked about 6 months ago, in line with this May-June area, reaching a yearly high of $1.3 billion. Right now on the way down. In fact, Blur outpaced OpenSea for the fourth quarter of 2022. CryptoStache, what do you feel about OpenSea and the landscape of competitors? In 21, it was OpenSea or bust, except for, a few fringe chains. Do you think that can continue, or are these competitors going to just keep, nipping at their heels?
OpenSea's days as being the only game in town are over. Like they have, not only did they have quite a few missteps this year and last year and the year before, which, understandable at times, some of them not really ones that are unacceptable in my opinion, but they really haven't innovated much with their platform in this entire time. I mean, sitting on millions of dollars of profit and net worth and not really being able to bring the features to people that they really truly need. And that is the reason why we saw Blur overtake a lot of that volume here in the last 2-3 months-ish, because of that. Because they understood very well what traders were looking for, what kind of features they wanted to be able to continue to push the forefront of what a marketplace can offer. And then you throw in the whole royalties thing. That was all obviously a big deal when it comes to Ethereum and and Solana and some of these other chains that don't have that already built in. Which to me it goes to show that these blockchains were not purpose built for NFTs. They never were. And that I think that's a problem we have to deal with, and we see something like an OpenSea coming for a solution for that, which is nice. But in general, I think that we are going to see more and more competition coming on board, not only from just ETH Layer 1, but also from Polygon and other marketplaces that will focus specifically on those, Immutable X as well, and what they're doing with some of their partners. So yeah, competition is out there. Everybody wants a cut of that. And then, but you look, not everyone's going to be successful too. In particular, in this down market, this downturn right now. Well, it's not the best time to be launching a marketplace, we'll say, that doesn't bring something new to the table. And we saw Coinbase do this, and their marketplace completely flopped. We've seen some other ones like GameStop also do this, not doing so well in volume, in comparison to what we saw here with Blur, who did offer some tools that people wanted, and you see the reaction, right? They're catering to the very degen nature of what's going on in NFTs and who's left at this point, in the industry that really still wants to trade a lot of these high dollar items.
All right, I'm glad you brought up royalties, and you kind of also said everybody kind of wants their piece here. RiceTV, the main difference between OpenSea and Blur's, OpenSea pays the royalties back to the creators. Blur doesn't have that royalty in there. It's so basically you almost get a discount. So there's a 5% royalty. It'll go for 100 on OpenSea, but with arbitrage, you only see it for 95 on Blur. You're not giving that $5 to Bored Ape. What do you think is going to be the norm as we head toward the future? Is it going to be more of a LimeWire style where Wild West, I don't care if they get royalties, sorry, Bored Ape, you don't get your, $1,000? Or is it going to be more like a Apple Music, a Spotify, where, maybe the artist should get a little bit of a cut? And let's bring that to the conversation.
I would like to see us be more in a LimeWire type environment. And I think that's a really good example to use because a lot of people aren't really familiar with the whole peer-to-peer music downloading aspect and how that works.
I forget I'm a boomer. I'm 38, so I forget there's not everyone is, older.
You're a what?
Me.
A boomer.
Not really, obviously.
A bloomer or a boomer?
A bloomer.
A boomer. But I was a late bloomer as well.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I see.
Too.
I mean,
I'm with you.
With NFTs being so popular and being, such a big phenomenon in the cryptocurrency space, I think we're going to see a lot of these corporate entities trying to capitalize on it. But I think the future of these marketplaces is definitely going to be multi-chain. And I'm looking forward to seeing multi-chain NFT marketplaces that are offering real value, listening to what customers want, and trying to make something that's going to be ease of use. Because if we're going to have something that's going to be multi-chain, we're going to need to have ease of use. Now, I'm just not a big fan of like the direction that NFT started off at with the whole PFP thing and how just the JPEG aspect. I know you had the JPEG junkies, and nothing against that. It's just a lot of money grabs were going on. Look at what Logan Paul just recently did with his NFT project and how he's pretty much screwed his entire fan base that was trusting him, and he just took advantage of them. So until we get to NFTs being utilized for real use cases beyond where we see it now, which would be things like deeds, registrations, licensing, voting, supply chain management, fashion, wearables, social tokens, events, ticketing, real estate, that's where I see the real value of NFTs. But you're not going to see those kind of things trading on marketplaces like we see the artwork that we have today.
All right. Good points there. Now, Crypto Bloody brings up a good point. If we do head towards this LimeWire style of system, the Bored Apes, the D-Gods, the JPEG junkies, they're not going to receive any revenue from secondary sales. In that environment, can NFTs survive? And if so, how do they generate some sort of income?
Well, first, DZ, thank you for having me on. I did some back of the envelope calculations, and I think we're the second to last guest for Around the Blockchain for 2022. Let's make a round
new
of
channel.
applause for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like
So we're the first losers, right? Second place losers. Okay. Anyway, listen, OpenSea is gonna have to change their name to Closed Lake because it's a done data. It's a done data. Once you open that gate, man, it is over. People are going to go to those types of platforms like Blur and a number of other ones. And so I don't think you can put the cat back in in the bag at this point. They're going to have to come up with a new business model. What that is, I have no clue. But definitely those other platforms will be eking away at the market share that OpenSea has. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah, getting chipped away every day, every month. A little bit more, it seems like it's getting chipped away from OpenSea. Taco, I'm going to ask you, about this upcoming year and some predictions. I do want to just throw out some of the celebrity and some of the brand NFTs that came out in the past 12 months. We have huge brands, Nike, Gucci, Reddit. Starbucks is, introducing some plans. There's a lot of big stuff on that front. There's also celebrities, some successful, some not so successful. You got Trump. By all metrics, seemingly did pretty good with that drop, especially considering it was 45,000 of them. But then you have on the other end of the spectrum, a Chris Brown, Martin Lawrence, John Cena. I didn't happen to see that one, but it did very poorly as
Kevin
well.
Hart.
They didn't sell any. So
don't forget Donald Trump.
Yeah, what's going to be the narrative for next year? Is it going to be a little bit more bullish action? And what do you see happening on the celebrity front? Are we going to see more, or are we going to see less?
It's a good question. Predicting what 2023 is going to bring for NFTs. Well, I mean, obviously, a bunch of celebrities, they got into the Bored Ape ecosystem. So that's like number one. Number two is probably CryptoPunks. A lot of people still have CryptoPunks. It's another high ticket item. Sandbox maybe is going to keep building. Maybe they'll secure some more partnerships. I know they've got a bunch, and their game is still in development. It's probably going to be a slow process, which I'd like more than someone that just rushed their game out there. What else? So you got the other side, other deeds. The trial of Jimmy with the Bored Ape ecosystem. I think their mint is coming up in like maybe 3-4 weeks. So that's probably going to be the biggest one to come out of 2023. But it's probably just going to be, like a big brand that jumps in at the right time on the right blockchain to capture new users, because you saw that Reddit, they created 3.2 million Polygon addresses. We were talking about that earlier today, how they even did it, which is pretty impressive. So it's gonna be big brands that come in and bring in people, and celebrities. The one-off profile picture, I think that's kind of done, and you'll see actual more utility come out of NFTs in the future. And if a big celebrity like Donald Trump is in this like ecosystem with his trading cards, I just wanted to note too, it was a 10% royalty on those. So on top of the millions of dollars he made off of mint, he's still making a killing.
Yeah.
So
4.5
sounds
million
about
off
right for Trump. 10%. He would have did 20 if he could have.
Yeah, he would have done 20
right?
if the community allowed it. And I like how you say
he should. Yeah, that's a good point though, Blood. He should have been able to do 20%. Now, let me tell you why. Because what it comes down to is that royalties like that should be baked into the blockchain, and it should be based upon the person who is the creator, right? So if you want to set something to 20%, you should be able to do it. If you want to set to 5%, you should be able to do it. If you want to do 0%, you should be able to do that. It gives
Stache.
better tools.
Doesn't Wax,
because then you could say, we're having a sale this weekend, 0% royalties, boom, on our collection, we could do it. And there's so much more to that than we see that other blockchains can do.
I know
like
Wax
that.
is cat.
I was gonna say, does Wax?
Because for sure that
Wax seems to have that kind of baked into the cake, if I'm not mistaken, right?
They do. Yeah, that's what
and
I'm saying.
I think Wax is definitely one of the premier NFT platforms.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, well,
as a creator, you get to decide your royalties and how much they're paid, and you can change them if you want to for other things like that. That's actually how it should be, and that's what I mean when we see tech like this. It's just not, Ethereum and all these other NFT chains are not evolving quick enough to really, stay
I think that's a good idea. Not only should we be able to give 0% if we want, but we should be able to give a little bit extra. I think that's a pretty good idea there. Maybe someone might try to build that out. Now, Stache, real quick, talking about these other, ETH kind of stealing the show, but what do you think is the chain of 23 that's, not people aren't really expecting, that's not on people's radar? Is it like a flow? Is it Wax like we previously mentioned? What's the chain you have your eye on for the next 12 months?
Wax doesn't get enough love, but for whatever reason, I still don't know that that's going to be like the breakout chain for 2023. But I will give you some of my time. I mean, obviously, I think that the ETH layer 2s are going to do well. I think Polygon and Immutable will still do really well in 2023 for a lot of mainstream projects. But we do see some up and comers that I think are doing really well, and they've built out some great tools and great communities. Cardano is at the top of my list there. Also, Avalanche is starting to come with some really cool stuff for NFTs and NFT gaming as well. So I think that we'll see a lot more going on there as we see, maybe things on Solana start to cool down a little bit as we kind of, I don't know if you guys saw like the development commit numbers for Solana, how they've declined pretty significantly. And I get it. I don't think they're going away, but I do think there'll be less of a hype around them like there was here, this year, kind of coming out of 2021 into this year. So yeah, I could definitely see some of those blockchains. In particular, I think Cardano's at the top of my list for those. But definitely watch out for Avalanche. Tezos could do something. They've been kind of floundering around. They haven't really got a big project yet, or some big development going on there. But I think that there is some potential there as well. So everyone wants to add NFTs, man. Ripple's coming for like literally. It's the same thing we keep seeing. It's like when one blockchain comes with something that a lot of money flows through, then they're like, oh, we got to add this too. It's like, okay, we got to get DeFi. Everyone wanted to get DeFi in 2020 to their blockchain, and then when NFTs broke out in 2021, they're like, all right, guys, we're changing everything. Our blockchain's all about it's all about NFTs now. And what's it going to be next time, right? What is it going to be next time? Next year in 2023. I think that we'll see a lot revolve around AI and AI usage in some of these platforms too.
It's a good point. When I hear people talk about VeChain, it's not supply. It's not supply distribution system. It's NFTs and PFPs.
Right, and that's the same thing. And VeChain's kind of doing some NFT stuff too. But
it's weird. It's not what it's supposed to be. But it's now Rice. Are there any other chains that kind of fit the Rice's 3 tenets of what I look for in a blockchain? Regardless of the teams building on the platform. What coins do you think are poised to have a good foundation for the next year or the year after that?
Well, I meant to say earlier, thanks again for having me on the show. And are you talking about basically like just basic blockchains, or are we talking about NFTs?
Yeah, like I wouldn't think you would say VeChain, ticks all 3 boxes of, privacy, usability, or, the 3 words.
So I'm still a big fan of the OG coins. I mean, I'm still a big fan of Bitcoin. I'm a big fan of Litecoin. I mean, there's a lot of development that's been done on Litecoin that people aren't really talking about, with the MWeb extension, the Omni layer, the Omni Light, which allows for NFTs to be built on Litecoin. So the old coins, I think, are going to come back to prove themselves because of the longevity that these projects have had. Even some of these projects are a little bit too decentralized, and that's why they don't have the marketing that you see with some of these other projects. And I give Digibyte as an example. But I see, as far as like layer 1 protocols that kind of competing against Ethereum, I do see Cardano having some light, but I also am a big fan of what Cosmos is doing as well. I've been looking into Cosmos a lot, and I think that chain has a lot of future and a lot of interesting things being done with it. So I'm looking forward to checking that out. And again, I just want people to really take time to think about the projects that have been around for a long time and why they've been around, and look at the teams that are involved. And when you see these chains that are just basically shifting with the trends just to capitalize on what's going on, you don't really see the actual vision, the center point of what they're creating. They're just kind of going with the flow. And a chain that's focusing on what they need to do is really important. And again, that's why I think Wax is so important for what they do, because they haven't gone outside of those extra elements, trying to go into the DeFi, trying to go into these other elements. They're focusing on what they do, and they do it very well. And I think more projects should do that.
Yeah, and you kind of bring up that point where, decentralized versus centralized. When you're more centralized, oftentimes the building just happens to be a little bit faster, just generally speaking. So yeah, it's that balance. You have to figure out what you're comfortable with. Now, Crypto Blood, 2 questions. 1, will Litecoin have NFTs in the coming year? Second question, will we ever see a decoupling of NFTs from the broader crypto market? Because still, just like altcoins, Bitcoin goes down, so does the price of a Bored Ape. So are we ever going to get out of that narrative?
No time soon. I do want to just highlight that. Okay, first, your first question, Litecoin. NFTs, no. I don't think it's even technically possible. Yeah,
totally
so I don't think
builders. Someone figure it out.
100% possible, man.
No, I don't think. I think it's not. I don't think
it's
there's
NFTs on Bitcoin. Did you know there's NFTs on Bitcoin?
That's what the whole Omni layer is. The whole Omni Light layer
is another layer.
It's not possible till someone builds it.
Right. Yeah.
So who's going to build it? Is it you?
But it wouldn't be on chain. Like, you wouldn't have NFTs literally on chain on Litecoin's blockchain.
Well, I mean, the data might be pushed there, but it wouldn't be like native. It wouldn't be like native.
Right.
It wouldn't be like
L1
Cardano. It would be like Ethereum is.
Well, how
Right.
was
IPFS.
Tether on Bitcoin? How was that done though? Because it's the
Omni
same
layer.
thing. That's the Omni layer, but wasn't it on chain? I was under the impression it was on chain.
I don't think so.
And this is just a copy of the code. This is called Omni Light because it's a version for Litecoin, but it's the same thing since it's a Bitcoin.
I hate saying this. We need Richard Hart. We need to ask Richard. But Crypto Blood.
Oh my God, no. So what was your other question? I think I got.
Will we decouple NFTs from the broader crypto market? Is that always going to be connected?
I don't know if it'll always. No, it won't always be. But if you take a look at, we talked about this last week or a week before, DZ, like Trump, right? He didn't like Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, but he came out with an NFT, right? To me, that shows me that he doesn't think of NFTs as crypto. And so I think more people will look at NFTs as not necessarily cryptos. So there will be a decoupling from a psychological standpoint at some point. It's actually happening because even last year when I was in, exactly. And when I was in NFT at the NFT NYC parties and all that stuff going on last year or earlier this year, people were getting into NFTs that never bought Bitcoin, never bought Litecoin, never bought any of these other coins. I'm like, damn, this is crazy, right? So that's happening. It's going to continue to happen. And so the decoupling will happen psychologically from a behavioral standpoint for end users. Less so price at this point, though. I think we're still tied to Bitcoin.
All right. Well, let's move on. And there's another development that's happening January 1st. Big news with the NFT. And I'm going to throw this one your way, Rice. China is getting into the game. That's right. China, they're going to launch their own NFT marketplace. This is a real thing. CCP is getting into the game. Probably not going to see a Bored Ape on there anytime soon, but we will see, Chinese state-sponsored NFTs. Rice, what is their end goal here? Is this to, is it for data collection? Is it for, give the people something shiny to keep them distracted? Is this to maybe generate revenue so they can build a hospital in 7 days? Why are they doing this? You're muted. Right? Or at me?
I apologize about that. I would say all the above, honestly. I mean, we're talking about China, and it's interesting that you're asking Rice about China, but because I'm not really a huge fan of China. Well, I'm a big fan of the Chinese people. I'm not a big fan of the Chinese government, is what I should say. What's interesting about this is, they're calling this a state-sponsored NFT marketplace. I mean, this is communism at its best. A Chinese digital asset trading platform. No, I definitely don't think it's going to be
I have
free.
to wait in a queue, though, like a bread line.
No, because then how can they capitalize off of this and profit if it's going to be free? But again, I mean, the data collection, appeasing their citizens, basically, because, I mean, the Chinese people want to participate in cryptocurrency. And as long as the Chinese is going to try to keep a stronghold on their citizens and what they can and can't do, especially using things like CBDCs and a facial recognition social score system. I mean, this is just feeding into just allowing for the people to feel like they're participating in the ecosystem when they're not really participating. They're just in a closed yard. They're on their own little playground and not really anybody else gets to participate. So, I mean, this is something that's only going to benefit people in China. I mean, hopefully there is like some really cool art aspects and maybe some cultural things, but being that this is going to be ran by the Chinese government, it's probably going to be full of propaganda.
Yeah, I want to do PFP tanks. I think that would be really, really cool. Especially it's like just me, a lone man. That's what I would like. Now, Crypto Blood, there's some other developments happening, this year. I think another big story for next year is going to be Starbucks NFT integration when they have their customer loyalty program. How do you think that's going to do? Is this going to be a boom or a bust? And what's it going to look like?
No, I think it's going to do very well. And shout out to that's on Polygon, right? That's another Matic move.
Another Matic win.
Shout out to Matic, man. They end the year on top. Okay, as in regards to partnerships, I think they did a great job. We talked about that in a previous episode. Their biz dev team is like none other in the game at this point. But yeah, I think it's going to do well. I don't see a reason why it wouldn't. The end user is not really going to know that they're using blockchain, and ultimately, right, that's what we want. So, you know, this is the maturation of crypto, when the end user doesn't even know they're using blockchain, and it's just working as it should. So, you know, the maturation of Bitcoin, or shouldn't say Bitcoin, but blockchain is going to be very unsexy. It's going to be boring. So
it's like the maturation of Jay-Z. Ever since he dropped that song, it's been downhill. Now, CryptoStache, I think there is something there to this. You know, the normies don't know they're dealing with NFTs. We saw it with the Reddit. I actually got involved with way too many online arguments where they said, it's not an NFT, it's a digital collectible, stupid. And, you know, they're literally, you know, maybe some are trolling me, but some of they actually have decoupled NFTs from the term NFTs from actual NFTs. Is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? And, you know, why?
It is a 100% great thing. You know, nomenclature is big with anything, right? In particular with new technology, it's important to understand what people are receptive to and what they're not. And we've already kind of made a bad name for a lot of terms in crypto in general, not just NFTs, but in general, like all that's why it's like, oh, well, no, it's not crypto anymore, guys. It's Web3 now. Web3, it sounds way cooler.
Yeah.
But I will say, but to Blood's point, blockchain and crypto has never been cool or sexy, only to us nerds. Like legit, like they're only the people who get excited about this stuff are the people here in the industry. But for the most part, people outside of our little echo chamber don't care. It's not cool or sexy to them. They just want to be able to, you know, have it increase, you know, the velocity of fun in their life or enjoyment or entertainment in their life, right? Whether that's financial, whether that's, you know, on the gaming, fun, entertainment side. That's what they want. And, you know, NFT is a technology. It's cool. We can call it NFTs, but, you know, on the back end, it doesn't need to be called that on the front end. So, yeah, I think the move to calling it something else, digital collectibles are great. Digital skins, you know, for gaming type of items, I think are really great. But, yeah, non-fungible token was never really a great term to begin with. I mean, NFT, great, shorten it, and it works. But, you know, no one is out there creating conferences around, you know, LED screens.
Yeah,
LED technology, guys. We're gonna have a whole conference around it.
Like, oh hell yeah, man! You're gonna have these. You're gonna have the LED people all after you, man, because there are there's a whole underground.
They have their little echo chamber. They have a little echo chamber. Like maybe they have a conference for people who are in this industry, which we kind of do. But it doesn't need to be like we don't, you know, say, hey, I'm gonna go with the latest LED TV. You know, like we're just going to get a new smart TV, right? Smart TV is way cooler. It sounds cooler. Smart TV. Like I don't want a stupid TV. And these are the narratives that people are going to latch onto, just like what DZ was saying, where people would argue like, no, it's not an NFT, it's a digital collectible. Sure, man, whatever you want to call it.
Yes,
I'm
whatever
cool
you say.
That.
All right,
I'm trying to understand.
As long as you're doing it and you're part of it and you're adopting it, it doesn't need to be out there. It doesn't need at the forefront. It just needs to work better.
Yeah, go ahead, Blood.
DZ, what does PFP like? Where does that acronym come from?
Profile pic.
Okay, where's the F?
I know the
profile
P
is
and the
one
F,
word.
Profile. I know.
It's supposed to be PP. Just call it PP. I know it doesn't sound right, but just call it PP.
I think you answered your own question. I want to say you have answered your own question.
They couldn't call it PP.
I have a monkey PP.
Yeah.
The amount of times I want to say I have a monkey PP.
I think we all have PPs.
Monkey PFP.
At least here.
I have a monkey JPEG PP.
Better. All right. Well, you know, this guy has a monkey hat on, and Crypto Taco. I'm going to ask you another prediction here for the coming year.
Are you guys
other
both wearing
deeds
the same hat? I just noticed that.
We switch very quickly. It's the speed of light here.
You want to hear the story about how they made a lot of money off of it?
We sold it to a rich dev for like $500, and we had to buy them off eBay. But question: is Other Deeds going to have a release this year? Yes or no? Or are they too distracted with their new shiny toy, which is other upcoming mint?
I mean, I'm sure they want to have it out as soon as possible. They just got that new guy from Blizzard, Activision, as their CEO or COO,
CEO,
some high position at the company. So if he can do it with like World of Warcraft and all the games that he's created, Diablo, Lord of Destruction, I was playing as a kid. That game was my favorite game ever. So if the other side is anything like the games that he has had a part of, it's gonna do great. And I know we're just coming up with ideas of what this new mint from the Bored Ape Yacht Club ecosystem is going to be. Maybe it's going to be little monkeys that are at a lower price, so more people can get into the ecosystem.
One thing I'm not going to have is a little monkey PP. So I don't know if I can mint that.
Yeah, you don't.
I don't know if I can mint that.
Yeah, I don't know
about a
if
big
you guys,
monkey. What about a big monkey?
If you guys caught the trial of Jimmy, the last like 5 seconds is a real eye opener. So check that out if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, especially if you have brown.
I won't give it
like
away.
Me.
It's great content
there. All right, well, that is all we have time for. It's been a fantastic NFT episode. I hope you liked it. Please hit that like button if you like some of these special episodes. CryptoStache ended up taking it home. He took that checkered flag. CryptoStache, feel free. Leave us with some parting thoughts, please.
Okay, no. What I will say is that I love you guys. Have a happy new year. 2023 is a new opportunity to do something cool and interesting in this field. If you're not involved in it already, maybe just slanging JPEGs or trading here and there. Actually get involved, man. Have some fun with it. And I think there are bright things ahead for every blockchain out there and for every person who's still around. If you're watching right now, then 2023 is going to be your year because you're still here, and that's the people who make the most money when we swing back to that bull section. And you know what's coming, baby, because it's right here all the time.
Yeah. Let's be like those accumulators in 2019. You're going to want to stick around for the next 36 months, but especially the next 12.
Keep your PPs in your wallets.
And with that note, we'll see you. And we're moving January 3rd. Just an added note. So we'll see you.
Subscribe
we'll
to the new channel. Subscribe to all our channels.
Make sure you subscribe to everything.
Like,
we got there. Links in the description. Till next time, BitSquad.